Hello and welcome back to our little 1997 Formula 1 season in AMS2 in virtual reality. Today we're here in Montreal, Canada for the Canadian Grand Prix. We're not using exactly the layout from 1997, but this classic version is still close enough. Today we'll be racing as hometown hero Jacques Villeneuve, who wants to repeat the success of his father, who won at exactly this place when he was competing in Formula 1. And now, without further ado, let's look at the starting grid for today's race. The first two rows are once again reserved for Ferrari and Williams. This time it is Michael Schumacher on pole, and second is Heinz-Harald Frentzen for a German front row lockout. Then in third it's Eddie Irvine, and fourth is Jacques Villeneuve. And then from P5 onwards, as it was before, it gets a lot more colourful with Coulthard in fifth, then Alesi, Fisichella championship leader in 7th, Panis, Berger, Herbert, Ralf Schumacher, Mika Häkkinen, and then on the second page we see Jos Verstappen, Shinji Nakano, Rubens Barrichello, Pedro Diniz, Nicola Larini, Mika Salo, Jarno Trulli, and in 20th, very disappointing qualifying for our reigning champion Damon Hill in his Arrows. And the 11th and final row are completed by Jan Magnussen and Ukyo Katayama. And now we join Jacques Villeneuve here on the grid, and it's lights out and away we go. And it's a great start for Jacques Villeneuve, who then is blocked by his teammate Heinz-Harald Frentzen. There was no room to slip through down the inside. So we have to let Irvine pass again. Now we have to defend against David Coulthard on the inside into turn 2 and 3, but we managed to stay ahead. Now we can focus on the road up ahead again. And we are already alongside Irvine again, who manages to stay ahead going into turn 7 and 8. Now, maybe with a good exit, we can make a move into turn 9, one of the circuit's heavier braking zones. Another chicane here, a right-left chicane this time, and round the outside we go. We make the corner, and most importantly, we make it past Eddie Irvine for now, who now maybe has the chance for a counter-attack into the hairpin, probably the best overtaking spot on this track. Well, we managed to stay ahead, and now we have our teammate Heinz-Harald Frentzen ahead of us once again, and we get a great exit out of the hairpin already alongside here, but it gets very, very close with the walls once again, and again we have to back out of the move to prevent a collision, a massive collision with our teammate, who now is getting a little bit away from us. And this is how we're going into lap 2. No changes in the top 6, apart from Villeneuve making it past Irvine in lap 1. And it looks like the Williams could go a little bit quicker than Michael Schumacher in the race lead. But Frentzen didn't manage to find a way past him on the opening lap. And now we want to make it past Frentzen yet again. This is where we overtook Irvine, but we did it around the outside. And we are early on the brakes to prevent another crash, as we don't want a teammate collision here. Now into the hairpin, but too early. We were too close, too early to make a move around the down the inside. So we had to back out yet again. Now this long straight here, that isn't exactly as straight as, well, there is this little right-left combination that doesn't exist anymore, but, it didn't exist anymore in 1997, but in a couple of years earlier this was still there. But this makes it a lot harder to make a move on that long straight or long flat-out part of the track. And yet again, Frentzen is right on Schumacher's gearbox. The two Germans really fighting here for the lead, but Frentzen is yet to make his first proper passing attempt. Oh, this wasn't the greatest of exits, and now we might get another run into turn 9 again, and we are pretty much passed, but way too early on the brakes. Way too early. We should have braked a little bit later there. And we would have made it past Fredson, but not this time. We have to get a little bit more courageous into that corner, into the braking zone. Now, this time on the other side in this right-left combination that we've talked about earlier, and this time we make it past. That was a high-speed pass if you've ever seen one. Now, this final chicane is pretty tricky as well. You absolutely have to avoid the curves that are very high on this track, and that will definitely unsettle your car if you touch them or if you attack them too much. So you really need to be careful. You can't attack them as much as we did in Imola. Yeah, as you've seen here, you've seen how much time we've lost compared to Schumacher just by touching that curb once and getting a little bit unsettled. But we are definitely faster than the Ferrari. For the first time, we are not alongside another driver into turn 9. But maybe this could give us the chance into the hairpin here. But we're too far away and it's way too early to go for the ambitious dive bomb. Strategy will also come into play, but another good exit and another good slipstream here. This is where we passed Frentzen the lap earlier, but Schumacher isn't backing out at all. That could have been horrible if we hadn't backed out. And once again into the hairpin. We're looking down the inside, but no chance to make it through there. And again, that flat out part is where we gain a lot of time. We're a lot faster in the straight line. But the final chicane is not much of a braking zone, so it will be hard to brake alongside and make a move into there. And so we lost a little bit of time again on the pit straight. This could be another overtaking zone here, turn 1. But we're not close enough. Now from here is the part where we can go a lot quicker than the Ferrari. Pretty much our favorite zone to make a move coming up here. And again, Schumacher is defending, but now he opens the inside line. We are late on the brakes this time, but we don't get the corner done. This is really a fine margin to hit your braking spot into this corner. Braking too early and there is no chance you're gonna finish that move. But brake just that little bit too late and you won't get the corner done, and you have to run across the grass and lose a lot of time. We're coming up towards turn 9 again here. And this time we are pretty close again. This time we're going for the outside. This is how we passed Irvine on lap 1. But now we are early on the brakes again, or Michael Schumacher very late on the brakes, I believe. But he gets the corner done and defends his position. So this won't be an easy task to make it past the Formula 1 champion of 1994 and 1995. Back then it was with Benetton. And now, again, we are alongside into this right-left combination, and he... well, he doesn't yield at all, so we're the ones who have to back out of that move again. And look how much we've lost just by backing out there. And what's coming up there is the first lapped car. This is a Minardi. It should be a Katayama, I believe. That is very early in the race. Probably already had a pit stop. but he's not really letting us past. He's not at all letting us pass now. Schumacher alongside, but still he gets a good exit. And now look at the mirror. Look in our mirrors. There's Frentzen back again. We had like 1 or 2 second gap to him, and now he's right there again as Katayama, or truly whoever of the Minardis it is, lets Schumacher pass, but then cuts across the racing line and blocks us, so that Frentzen for a brief moment was past us. And now into the hairpin we make it past the Minardi, but that was really, really rude there to not let the leading pack by there. And now Frentzen is losing a lot of time behind him as well. We are starting something like lap 10-ish here, and well, we've closed up to Michael Schumacher again here. And, well, now we come into a point of the race where pit stops might come into play. This is a 35 lap race. Now lap 10, maybe someone, but now let's first look at another passing attempt late on the brakes, too late on the brakes, as we block our front right, and we have to let Michael pass yet again, the second time. We misjudge our braking here, or lock up the tires slightly so that we didn't get the corner done. And this was extremely unfortunate because we were pretty much past finally. Yeah, I was talking about pit stops. It will be interesting now to see who started with a little bit of less fuel, who will stop now, as we are alongside Schumacher. And just as I talk about it, Schumacher comes in for his first stop. This is very early, and this might give us the chance for the overcut, which back then, where refueling was allowed, is a lot more powerful than the undercut. So let's see how we do from here. Well, a couple of laps later, and this is the next lapped car. We've already passed some off-screen, and we're losing some time behind them. And yeah, this time we misjudged our braking here for the third time, as we just made it past Pedro Diniz. And now looking at the standings in lap 18 now, the top 6 here all are yet to stop. So Irvine, Schumacher and Coulthard have already made their pit stops, and we will do in this lap. So let's look at the gap between P1 and P2, 11.3 seconds between us and our teammate. We have to keep that in mind, as Frentzen will probably be able to stay out a little longer, so he might have the advantage to now set a lot of fast laps with a lighter car, and he might have a chance to maybe even challenge us, depending on how much fuel he still has in his car and how quick he can go now. And there is our pit stop done now. Another set of slick tires, and let's wait where we come out. If we are lucky, we have a clear track right now, but now, coming out of the pit lane, we already can see we won't have a clean track at all. These are some lapped cars ahead of us now. A Tyrrell that we made past right now, Nicola Lurini this time in front of us. And, well, we're losing a lot of time yet again here behind these lapped cars. And now let's see where we are. We came out in P4, Frentzen, Alesi and Berger yet to pit. Herbert and Barrichello as well, but the second page of the standings right now is a lot more important, as there is the cars that have already stopped. Coulthard in 7th with 1 stop, then Irvine Fisichella Panis, and Michael Schumacher, because of his early pit stop, fell down all the way to P11 because he was caught up in traffic. Well, and now this lap our teammate finally made it into the pits. And this is how it stands right now. The Benettons are still yet to pit. They might not be dangerous for us, as the gap is still too small for them to pull out a pit stop. But what is very interesting is that the gap between us and our teammate came down to 3.3 seconds. It was 11 point something ahead of the pit stop, but the later stop actually made the gap shrink a lot. And now we join ourselves on the final lap of the race already. Nothing happened, pretty much nothing happened anymore in this race. We actually managed to pull a huge gap on our teammate again, who was not able to make the gap shrink another time. So yeah, it's quite the opposite. He got held up in lapped traffic that isn't really moving out of the way here, so he lost a lot of time there, and it's a comfortable win for us here in our home race. And Jacques Villeneuve will now come around the final corner of his home race to win the 1997 Canadian Grand Prix, and with it take the championship lead. And well, we're waiting now for the final results, and it will be interesting to see how the Benetton did with their very late pit stops. And well, we see right now Alesi actually finished in third with a small gap only to France, and the other point scorers today are Coulthard, Irvine and Fisichella. Coulthard taking the first points for McLaren, and this is the driver standings. Villeneuve takes the lead, Fisichella still in second, then Franzen now entering in third, Schumacher without any points fourth, fifth Alesi, sixth Johnny Herbert, then 7th Coulthard, Panis, Irvine, Larini and Häkkinen and Berger, the first one without any points, as they got a little bit unlucky. Häkkinen finishing 7th in Imola and Berger finishing 7th here. And this is the Constructors' standings. Williams also taking the lead of the Constructors' Championship. Jordan then still in second with 11 points. Ferrari only finishing, only getting another 2 points here today. Still in third, then Benetton, Sauber, McLaren, and well, on the second page we see Prost with 2 points, and then Arrows, Stewart, Tyrrell and Minardi all without any points so far. The next race will be the British Grand Prix in Silverstone, so be sure to subscribe to not miss that. And well, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like of course, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And until then, that's it from me, and I see you all the next time. Goodbye.